Okay. Oh yes. Right. We're live. So we're back on the old system because my laptop has just decided it wants to update itself. Shall I show you? My beautiful, lovely laptop. I was just about to go live. And look. Hi Deborah. My beautiful laptop has decided it wants to update. A gorgeous laptop, absolutely stunning, but look how beautiful the case is. But it wants to update, so we've come back on the old system. Let's have a look. We're on here. So how is everyone? I haven't really been that active because I've been just doing all different things that I don't normally do. So I'm trying to get organised. Now, obviously, Marian Cocke, Elvis's private nurse, passed. So I wanted to sort of at least... Hi, Michelle. I'm back on the old laptop because my new one is updating. Keep saying... updates are underway. Please keep your computer on. So I'm back on this one, but at least it's working, I think. So I quickly put a little video together very quickly. I just very quickly the announcement by, I'm not sure who that person is, that announced that Marian Cocke, Elvis's private nurse, I think she met him around 1975. Was passed a few days ago, so let's pay homage. Let's show our respects for Marian Cocke. I know that she adored Elvis. 100%. I've worked that out, and got my medals on in the. Let's just make sure we've got a nice little. Of course, I'm very proud of most dramatic YouTube channel. So I think we're pretty central. Maybe just go down just slightly. Let's have a look. Is that about right? I think that's about right. Okay, let's find the video. Let's play it. It's only a minute long. And then we're just gonna, off the cuff, we're gonna scout around and try and find some Marian Cocke interviews. And just go from there, really. I was hoping to do a live stream. Obviously, have you got your coffees, guys? Must have your coffees or a cup of tea. I was hoping to do a live stream on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto as well. Let's just see if the laptop has updated by then. I hope it has. So I'm hoping to, because the last 2 days I haven't really been able to get on in the normal way. So I'm hoping today I can get on a bit more. So it's very early in the morning for me. I haven't been awake long. Make sure I'm all clean. Let's do it. Let's play the interview. Right. I mean, this is quite touching. Quite. When the friend of Marian, I'm not sure if she's a carer or a relative, gets a bit tearful. It does touch a nerve. Morning, guys. We're going to dedicate this morning's live stream to Marian Cocke, Elvis' private nurse. Obviously very sad news. Announcing the news that she has passed. It's very upsetting to watch. We're going to honour Marian today on our live stream this morning. Thanks, guys.
Good morning. I'm on my way to school this morning, and I needed to get some information out, especially to the Elvis fans, that Marian passed away peacefully this morning in Memphis. Obviously, this is very difficult for me.
I am live.
We've got more information that'll be coming later. We don't know when the funeral will be yet. I'm about to go out of town for a few days, and we're thinking the funeral may be in a couple of weeks. We don't know yet. So as soon as I get those details, I'll let you know. So I just kind of pulled over so that I could get this out quickly. a lot of friends already know this. I'm sure that Graceland will be notified today. So we appreciate everyone's prayers for her over the years, and just know that Marian loved you all very, very much. You were a part of her family. She had very few family members left, and she considered the Elvis fans her family. And we're heartbroken, but we know this morning that she is with Jesus. She's with Bob. She's with Katie, who she missed more than anything in the world. And I just have to know that she's with a guy that we all love very much. She's with her boy this morning. So love y'all, and I'll get that information to you as soon as I can. Bye-bye.
Very sad, guys. Very sad. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, when I watched that, it was like, ooh, a bit heartbreaking, isn't it? So, what I decided to do was, let's just look around YouTube. I've sort of spent the morning doing it. Let me just see if I can go into my history. Just trying to find anything that... Let's have a look. Oh, sorry. That sort of shows some interviews. There we are. There's one here that I found. So let me click on this one. We'll just pause that a minute. Let's go back to us talking. So good morning to you all. Who have we got on? We've got Deborah, Michelle, and Debbie, and Linda, and Frederick. Hi, Frederick. So let's just, we're going to just press play. We're going to stop and start. We have to review and react to it, otherwise YouTube don't like it. I have heard this before, but it was a while ago. And we're just going to try and find 3 or 4 different interviews and just listen and see what we can learn about, you know, obviously she meets Elvis. I'd like to know how she met him. I'm pretty sure Dr. Nick was a good friend of hers. Dr. Nick met her and wanted her to be Elvis's private nurse because he trusted her, basically. So I do think Marian feels that Dr. Nick was very unfairly treated. So yeah, Frederick, I've seen the pictures of Marian with Priscilla. I think she got on well with Priscilla by the looks of it. Yeah, I haven't seen that post yet though, Frederick, but yeah, she was friends with Priscilla. But she truly loved Elvis, didn't she? She got to see a side of Elvis in the last 2 years, didn't she, really? He was in and out of hospital quite a lot. So let's keep going. So it's 5 a.m. where you are. Here in the UK, it is 9:49 a.m. So I'm not fully awake yet, but let's press play. So it says January 2020, January the 10th.
All right, I'm going to start off with a dumb question, but I got to ask everybody.
It's all right.
What's your name?
So how many of you have watched this? I've seen this a few times. She's lovely, isn't she? She's a sweet lady.
And where are you from?
Marian, Marian, Cocke, C-O-C-K-E. One chicken with a quiet E.
Can you tell me a little bit about your background, how you got involved in medicine?
In medicine, well, I remember being I was born in Fort Benning, Georgia. My dad was regular Army. I was born in Fort Benning, and I went to the hospital one day with my mother. I was 5 years old to see a friend who had a baby. And I had to sit out in a waiting room, and a nurse came by, and she said, "What are you doing out here, little girl?" And I said, "I'm waiting for my mother to come out." And she said, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" I said, "I'm going to be a nurse." That's all I ever wanted to be. And I practiced nursing for 60 years. I was a nurse for actually a little over 60 years, including 60 at Baptist Hospital and 10 years working for a doctor.
It was a shame they knocked that place down.
Yeah,
I remember that.
it really It really tore me up.
So how did you come to meet and ultimately, I guess, treat Elvis Presley?
Well, you know, Dr. Nick came to me one day and he said, "Is the suite available?" And I said, "It is." And he said, "Well, Elvis is sick and I need to bring him in." I said, "I don't really want Elvis on this floor." "Why not?" I said, "Well, I have 52 patients up here, and I see all of them every single day, and those that are sick, I see them twice a day. Those that are really sicker, I see them twice a day." And I said, "I'm afraid it's going to be too much confusion and too much turmoil." He said, "Miss Cocke, I promise you, you won't have a problem." I said, "If you're sure." So I met him and loved him immediately. Who wouldn't?
I got that. I met him and loved him immediately. Who wouldn't? He just had that personality, didn't he, guys? You just warmed to him straight away, and the way he treated everyone as an equal, with total respect. You would never think it was one of the most famous people that ever lived when you meet Elvis.
He was being shaved, sitting up on the side of the bed being shaved, and I walked in and he introduced me to Joe and whoever else was in the room. I don't even remember other than Joe. And so we stood there for a few, and he said, "Do you know who this is?" I said, "I know who he is." So then after the interview, after I met him, everybody got ready to leave. Vernon was there, and so they were all ready to leave. And Joe said, "Elvis, we need to see about private duty nurses for you." And he said, "I'm going to talk to Miss Cocke first. We'll decide." So about 1:30 that day, he said, "What do you want me to do about private duty nurses?" And I said, "Honey, that's entirely up to you. What do you want to do about private duty nurses?" He said, "Well, I'll have them if you want me to, but I want you to be the one to take care of me." And I said, "Then save your money. And I'll just assign my 3 to 11 charge nurse to take care of you and my 11 to 7 charge nurse to take care of you." He said, "Okay." So that's how it started.
What year was that?
Very, very interesting, guys.
1975. It was. Let me see. He was 42, and it was
40.
1975 on January the 9th. He had just turned 40.
Okay. Well, did you ever stay at Graceland overnight or anything?
For 6 months.
You did? Where did you stay?
I shared Lisa's room. Oh, he moved a day bed in there, and he said, "The day bed is for Lisa. You sleep in the big bed." I said, "Lisa sleep in her bed. I'll sleep in the day bed." I got in that big bed one night. It had a mirror in the top of it, and I laid down. There was an old lady up there looking out at me, and I got out of that bed in a hurry. I said,
I love this. This is brilliant. I love this.
"I'm not sleeping in this bed."
Well, I've interviewed a lot of people that have known Elvis over the years, like Red West, Sonny West, a lot of other people. They always talk about Elvis's generosity. Did you ever witness this?
To a fault.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Now, one thing I do know, he definitely bought her a car, yeah? A big white car. I'm not sure what it is. Is it a Lincoln or something? Let's hear what she says.
I can tell you a lot about it. He was used and abused by many people. There were many people asking for stuff.
He was used and abused by many people. We all know this, don't we, guys? Everyone took advantage of Elvis. Elvis, we've done videos on this. Elvis was just sometimes just too nice. Too nice.
Got mad at him about if he'd give somebody something and they hadn't given it to them. And he told me this himself. And he, as far as I was concerned, he was used and abused by so many people, including a lot of people that were there.
And unfortunately, even by some friends and family as well. Of course, I'm going to say Priscilla, and some girlfriends as well, and obviously some of the Memphis Mafia. So I often feel that Elvis was a victim. It was a victim because he wanted the best for everyone. He put himself second, always. And I do believe that this was all thrown in his face. Especially, we know about the book Elvis, What Happened. But not just that. I just think 30, 40 years after him passing, it's still happening today. He's still used and abused. Which is why we have our other channel defending Elvis Presley. Because I personally feel Elvis has been really unfairly treated in history. I spoke to someone yesterday when I bought the laptop, which is just in case you don't know, guys, that the laptop is updating. It works brilliant, but it's just updating. When I bought that, you could see the look in the lady's eyes that sold me the laptop when she was asking me about my YouTube channel. That, you know, when you're discussing these topics of women and drugs and Elvis, that there's a look in the eyes, isn't there? There's a look in the eyes where they believe the negative stuff. They're not really interested in the truth. You know, how unfairly treated Elvis was, how unfairly portrayed he was. So it is what it is, guys. You know, you can't force people to see the truth. You can just do your best to convince them.
And but he was generous to a fault. The second time I nursed him, the first time I nursed him, he gave me a beautiful diamond cross.
Wow.
And the second time I nursed him, when I went there that night, he said, got to the hospital that night, and he said, I've got a car coming for you tomorrow. And I said, I don't need a car, I've got one. He said, well, hell, give it away then, I've got one coming for you.
Did you hear that? Oh, I've got a car coming for you. Hell, well, give it away, I've got one coming for you. My God, unbelievable generosity.
And I said, Elvis can't drive but one car at a time, honey. Well, give it away then if you want to, but it's coming tomorrow. So it was a white Grand Prix, and very
Yeah, I wonder what it was. A white Grand Prix.
nice, and I enjoyed it. And later on, several years later, my sister needed a car and was going to get a new car, and I said, well, I don't need but one car, already got two, so just take this. So I gave her a white Grand Prix.
She gave away that car that Elvis gave her to her, was it sister?
And then when she died, she wanted to know if it was okay for her to give it to my brother, and so what she did was she took it and sold it, but I said, just don't tell them who it came from.
Well, I've also heard that Elvis was a big prankster. He would like to joke around with
He
people.
was.
I think it was Sonny that was telling me one time they gave all of the employees $10 gift certificates from
To
McDonald's. Did you ever
for
witness
Christmas.
something like this?
No, he told me about it though, and
We've heard this story before, haven't we, about these McDonald's vouchers Elvis would tease people with.
but you know, he was funny and he was a prankster, and but he was a wonderful man.
Do you have a favorite Elvis song?
I remember you.
That's your favorite one?
I love that.
Oh yeah, I think I remember Colin doing that
They
last
sang
night.
it for me
I'm going to have to do a song reaction on that. I Remember You.
last night,
Well,
and I think later he sang Tish's favorite song probably.
probably.
Yeah.
He does everybody's favorites. To do
I know
Elvis.
he does. He's such a nice guy. Colin is just tremendous. I love to hear him sing.
Did you ever get to go on tour with Elvis? If so, what
I
was
never
that
went
like?
on tour, but I went on some trips with Elvis.
You did.
We went to Vegas. He's such a nice guy. Colin is just
Are they
tremendous.
talking about...
He sang it for me last night.
Sorry guys, are they talking about Colin Paul? Colin Paul is a friend of our channel. I wonder if they are.
Well,
And I think later he sang Tish's favorite song probably.
probably.
Yeah.
He does everybody's favorites. To do
I know
Elvis.
he does. He's such a nice guy. Colin is just tremendous. I love to hear him sing.
Did you ever get to go on tour with Elvis? If so, what
I
was
never
that
went
like?
on tour, but I went on some trips with Elvis.
You did.
We went to Vegas. We went to California. It was real funny.
Was he just mobbed by fans everywhere he went, or was he able to
Well,
get places?
no, actually, he was. The guys always went around. About 4 of the guys went with us when we went to Vegas, and it was a nice trip. And we had a good time, and it was funny when we got ready to leave. He said the plane was being gassed up. It should be ready by the time we got to the airport. And I said, my daughter was with me, and I said, Katie and I have to be gassed up too. We're hungry. And he said, oh, there's going to be food on the plane. So they had 2 big trays of sandwiches with deviled eggs and all this stuff on it. And he and Linda Thompson and my child and I wiped it clean. And then there was another tray full of fresh fruit, which we took back to Graceland. I said, what about the guys? He said, oh, they've already eaten. And so we had food on the plane for us, and we got on the plane to eat. And he said, well, we're so close to California, I think we'll just fly to California. I said, honey, I have to go to work in the morning. I'll get you back. So we flew to California and went to his home up in, where was it? We didn't go to the honeymoon house. We went in the Chino Canyon. Went to his home in the Chino Canyon, stayed there for about an hour. I kept saying, honey, I got to go to work in the morning. I'm going to get you back, Miss Cocke, I'm going to get you back. So we got back on the plane, I don't know what time, but we got into Memphis about 5:30. I had enough time to go back to Graceland, take a shower, put on my uniform, and go to work. So I got back out to Graceland that night, and he comes down the hall snapping his fingers, and he's feeling his oats. He's had all day to sleep. I've been up since Sunday morning. No sleep. Sunday, all day Sunday, Sunday night, all day Monday. Worked like a dog on the floor because I was the supervisor. And went out to Graceland that night. He comes down the hall snapping his fingers and feeling really good. And I said, I'm going to give you your medicine, I'm going to check your blood pressure, then you turn around and go right back down that hall where you came from, because I'm going to bed. And I said, if you wake me up tonight, you be sure it's really for something important. And he, yes ma'am. And so he ordered his
Love that, guys, love that.
own breakfast up, and he ate it in his room by himself, and by the time he got back there, I was almost asleep. And I slept all night. He never bothered me. Let me sleep all night.
He owed you that.
He did. I told him he did. He was funny. He was, without a doubt, the nicest guy I've ever known in my life.
Oh, I love that. Without a doubt, the nicest guy she's ever known in her life.
Well, fans look at him like he's a superhero and all, above everybody else. What would fans be surprised to know about Elvis?
That he was just human, just perfectly human.
Do you recall the last time you saw him alive?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
He called me at 2 o'clock one morning and asked me, it was just a few days before he died, and he said, I don't feel good, would you come out here? He always told me, he always said, you know, Miss Cocke, when I feel good, I like these tricky young nurses around me, but when I feel bad, I want you. And it wasn't the first time he'd called me at 2 o'clock in the morning, but he called me at 2 o'clock that morning. I lived in Raleigh. He said, I need you. I said, okay. So I got up and I started dressing. My husband said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to Graceland. Elvis needs me. So I went on out there and stayed with him for about 4.5 hours. He didn't look good. He was feeling bad. And I said, what's the matter, honey? And he said, I just needed you to come out here. And I sat on the side of the bed, reached over and put my hand on his arm, stayed there. We didn't talk much, but I was there for 4.5 hours. And finally he said, I'm okay now. He said, you go home and go to sleep. And I did. And the next time I saw him was in the emergency room. And when I walked in, I knew he was already dead. They were doing a code, and I asked them to please stop. And they stopped for a minute, restarted. And I said, Dr. Nick, don't do this to him anymore.
Wow.
And then I was...
Wow, that is touching. That is sad, God. That is like... I love that she went and sat with him for 4.5 hours. He knew he was unwell, didn't he? That's quite difficult to listen to, isn't it, guys?
Graceland the whole time of his funeral, and Vernon wanted me there. I went out there the next day, and I didn't go out there that night. I went out there the next day after they had just brought his body home, and so I had my private time with him. And then Vernon wanted me to stay that night for a while. And then it became just before it got dark. He said, you go home before it gets dark, so I won't worry about it. She said, call back and let me know I got home okay, because I lived in Raleigh. So I did, and then I was out there the next morning, and I was with the family the whole time, and sat with the family, and when we got back to Graceland, Vernon was sitting at the dining room table, and he said, Miss Cocke, come in here and sit with me for a few minutes, would you? And I went in and sat down. I said, what's the matter, honey? And he said, he was concerned about some of the bad things that were being said about Elvis. I said, let me tell you something. Those of us that know Elvis and love him, we're not going to pay any attention to that, and the rest of them don't matter. That's all I could take. We sat there about 20 minutes talking, and then we got up and we went back in the back bedroom where Grandma and Delta and Nash was, and Priscilla was back there, and sat back there for a while and visited.
Well, can you tell me a little?
What a beautiful interview, guys. This is just perfect, isn't it? It's just everything we need to know about Marian and Elvis. Obviously Elvis passing and how she cared for him. It's all there. It's all there. This is as good as it gets, I think. She's lovely. Absolutely lovely.
A little bit about your book.
Well, I had never set out to write a book. And we were going to church on Sunday, and Bob said, it was about 8 weeks after he died, and I said, it seems so funny not to be going to Graceland anymore. He said, well, you should write down your memories while you are young enough to remember. So that's 2 parts to that. So I did, and put them in a camphor chest. And sometime later, somebody said something about, you need to write a book. And I said, well, I've written my memories down. It was a guy from University of Memphis. I said, I've written my memories down. And he said, well, could I read them? And I said, sure. And so he came back and he said, we need to publish this.
And a few people have sent me messages about the book. I think it was Elaine. Let me just get Elaine's message up. I mean, that was lovely. That was, wasn't it, guys? That was better than as good as it could be. Yeah. So the book was called "I Called Him Babe." I called him Babe. It was Elaine that sent it me. Let's see what else. So obviously we're on Elvis Presley fan on keto. Let's just see. This morning I spent some time just looking around, seeing what else we can find with Marian Cocke. A lot of it is short clips. Let's have a look. Let's see what we can come across, guys. Here's a little short one here. See if we can hear it. I think someone sings to her now, so let's listen to this.
I'll remember you long after this.
I remember this was her favourite song, yeah?
The summer is gone. I am lonely, living only to remember you. I'll remember too.
Oh, I love this.
Your voice is soft as a warm summer breeze. Your sweet laughter, mornings after, ever after. I'll remember you. To your arms someday, I'll return to stay. Till then, I will remember too every bright star we made wishes upon. Love me always, promise always. Ooh, you'll remember too.
That's lovely.
I'll remember you.
Beautiful. Peter Alden. Peter Alden. Very, very, very touching. Quite emotional for you guys. Let's keep going. Let's see if we can find some more. I mean, that was just lovely, wasn't it, guys? Like, wow. Let's see what else we can find.
Very good.
Let's listen to this, guys. we're just looking around, finding different little clips. Just read these little sections, guys. So she last saw Elvis 6 months before he passed.
Elvis was not afraid of dying. He was a deeply religious person, and he read a lot up on astrology. He was very smart. As I said, he was not afraid to die.
So there's the car. A Pontiac Grand Prix, 1976. There's the book, guys. I called him Babe. You can see the cover of the book there. Elvis Presley's Nurse Remembers by Marian J. Cocke. So, just quickly read Pat's comment. I believe when Elvis died, she said she couldn't handle it and had a hard time sleeping. She fell asleep one night and something woke her and she saw something at the end of her bed and it was Elvis. Yeah, it is Trudy. It is sad, isn't it? Let's keep looking, guys. Let's find a few more little clips. So we're just honouring Marian Cocke, Elvis's private nurse. Let's see what we can find here. Is that another one here? Let's listen to this. I think this one she talks about Dr. Nick. So we'll just see what she has to say.
It's a key and controversial figure in the life and death of the king of rock and roll. And tonight, a new look into the life of Elvis Presley's personal doctor from a woman who knew him best. Good evening, I'm Joe Birch.
And I'm Condi Anthony. The death of Dr. George Nichopoulos has brought up new curiosity about his relationship with Memphis's biggest legend and the scandal surrounding those final days.
WMC Action News 5's Janice Broach talks with Elvis's former nurse, who shares the story you haven't heard.
Dr. George Nichopoulos spent a lot of time here at Graceland. He was a medical doctor first, but his life became defined by Elvis and Elvis's troubles.
Dr. Nick, I loved him. He was a fine man, and I think he did the best he could. I really do. And I'll go to my grave saying that.
Marian Cocke met Dr. George Nichopoulos when she worked as a nurse at Baptist Memorial Hospital.
I was the unit supervisor at the time.
And the man known as Dr. Nick sent his patients to her floor. One of those patients was the king himself, Elvis Presley.
I told the guard at the desk, don't ever let anybody in this room unless you check with me first.
Elvis liked Cocke so much he asked her to become his personal nurse at Graceland, which she did the last 2 years of his life. Dr. Nick was his doctor, and they both got caught up in the scandal of Elvis's drug use. She had to testify before a grand jury when Nichopoulos was indicted in 1980 for overprescribing drugs to Elvis and other patients. His medical license was permanently revoked by the Tennessee Board of Examiners, but Marian Cocke, who soon will be 90, says Dr. Nick got a bad rap.
Dr. Nick did the very best he could for Elvis. And there were many other doctors, not local doctors, but out-of-town doctors.
She says the scandal could have done in a lesser man.
It could have destroyed him totally. But I will say this for him, he kept his head up and pretty much his mouth shut.
Dr. Nick was 88 years old. He died on Wednesday. He will be buried on Saturday at Memorial Park Cemetery. At Graceland, Janice Broach, WMC Action News 5.
It's a key and controversial figure in the life.
So, obviously she was very close to Dr. Nick. She highly respected him. You know, There's a lot to the story with Dr. Nick, isn't there? There's a lot more to it. It isn't straightforward. He did take on an impossible task, I think. So you guys are going to have strong views about all that, aren't you? Let's see what else we can find with Marian. Let's have a look. Let's just put her name in and just see what comes up. These little clips, quite interesting, I think. Is that one there? All right, let's try this one.
Had all of the
today how you hooked up with Elvis Presley.
Well, I was supervisor.
Mrs. Cox, tell the people out there watching today about the Queen of England. I'm going to come back to you in just a moment.
Okay.
But Mrs. Cox, tell the people out there watching today how you hooked up with Elvis Presley.
Well, I was supervisor of a nursing floor at Baptist Hospital and actually had all of the patients from the group of doctors that Dr. Nicopolis worked with. And so he came up one day and told me that Elvis was sick and he needed to bring him in the hospital. And would I have the suite available? And I said I would. And I called a lady down in admissions and said, Sarah, we're going to hold this suite that we had somebody special coming in. I told her who it was, but don't breathe a word. And so she knew that I meant that. But anyway, he came in, and you know, the chemistry was just there between us, George. But I actually told Dr. Nick, I said, I'm off the day he's coming in. And Dr. Nick said, well, you know, this is Elvis Presley, would you please come in and stay with him that day? And I said, Dr. Nick, I don't get but 2 days a week. And he said, well, if you won't do it for Elvis, do it for me. And I said, okay, I'll do it for you. So I went in the next day, and of course, as soon as I looked at him and he looked at me, we just went together. Like
chemistry was there.
Almost like peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Yeah.
And so later on, when Joe and the guys got ready to leave, Joe said, we're going to have to talk about private duty nurses for you. And Elvis said, nah, I'm going to talk to Miss Cocke first. And that afternoon, he brought it up himself, and he said, what do you want me to do about nurses? And I said, honey, that's up to you, whatever you want to do. And he said, well, if you want me to have a private duty nurse, I will, but I want you to be the one that takes care of me.
Well, what a job.
And I said, then you don't need a private duty nurse.
Scott, excuse me, but you've got a book there. I want to plug the book before we let you go.
But, you know, George, this didn't start out to be a book. It started out to be my memories only for me, so that when I got too old to remember, like now, that I've passed 39, I could pull those notes out and read them.
Yeah.
And Vernon wanted to read them. And when I showed them to him, he said, please have this published.
Show that book on camera, honey.
And he said, please have this book published.
I called him Babe, and where it's available?
Called him Babe, and it's available, actually, you can email me or call me. Okay. And it's in some of the stores. It's at, I don't know, different places in town here, and Graceland also carries it. But I'm in the phone book.
Okay, Marian Cocke, C-O-C-K-E.
But it's listed as Robert in the phone book.
Excuse me, but Susanna Lee, we're short on time. Tell the story about the Queen of England. I'm sorry, Miss Cox.
Well, in England, the big honour is to be presented to the Queen, and I have a photograph of
I think we may as well hear this out, yeah, guys?
Obviously. And it was very exciting, you know, you're standing in the lineup, and whether it's the Queen or the President of America or whoever, you're always very nervous, George. You know, you're thinking, what are they going to say? So she comes along, and so we talk for a few minutes, and then she says, now tell me all about Elvis Presley.
The Queen said that.
And so she then said that would he like to come to England? And I said, oh, she would, Your Majesty. He would, definitely.
Wow. I mean, this is interesting, isn't it, guys? I love this.
And but so she did send an invitation, but she sent it to the Colonel, not to Elvis.
Oh yeah,
so
well, you know how that works.
Yeah.
Suzanne, we got to run.
Love that. Let's see if he's going to say anything else at the end.
The best, Miss Cox, honey, we love you, and we'll be at your banquet this coming year, and so forth, and so we'll be everywhere with you during this month, okay?
I hope so.
Okay, Susanna Lee, co-star of Elvis's motion picture, A Paradise Hawaiian Style, Mrs. Marian Cocke, Elvis's private nurse, and more than that, very close friend and confidant. I'm George Klein, it's Memphis Sound.
Well, we love George Klein, don't we, guys? We love George Klein. That was really interesting. That was brilliant. Really, really good. Let's see what else we can find, guys. Let's just listen to this.
Wiped his face with a cloth and brushed his hair out of his eyes and told him goodbye. And I got his pajamas and his Star of David for Vernon. Wiped his face.
Oh, it's very sad. Very, very sad. It's so obvious that she truly loved him. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find some short clips. What is this? So she's at an Elvis concert here. It's only a minute long, guys. Let's have a listen. Guys, that, and to see her there, the way that she's swaying to the music, it means everything to her, and that she's got a gentle little clap for him. I just find that really lovely. She's just absolutely lovely, isn't she, guys? Let's see if we can find some other bits. So we're basically honouring Marian. There's another little clip here, guys.
So, darling, you're in luck. Okay. Would you bow your heads, please? Thank you, Father, for this beautiful day. Thank you for the many blessings that you give to us. And thank you for your blessed Son, Jesus. We give you thanks for him. We give you thanks for our loved ones, both here and on the other side. We give you thanks for Elvis Presley and the way he touched our lives in so many ways. We thank you for his goodness, his graciousness, his kindness, his generosity. We thank you most of all for his love of Christ and the fact that he never failed to give the credit for his success to God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. So as we break bread together tonight in fun Christian fellowship, we thank you, Father, for this food. We ask you to nourish it to our bodies and us to your service. And we ask these things in the name of your blessed Son, Jesus. Enjoy your dinner.
Amen. Wow. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Let's see what else we can find, guys. So, very touching. All of it is just... Right, have we seen this? Here we go. There's another clip here, guys.
Yeah. She's going to say a few words, so give it up for Marian Cocke.
Hi, folks. I'm not really old, I just carry this cane for effect. But I'm so happy to be here tonight, even if it's just for a few minutes. I'm doing the Elvis Presley Memorial Dinner charity event tomorrow night. It'll be the 17th year. And I wanted to come to be here for Carrie today because they're raising money for Alzheimer's. So I hope that you will support her benefit and help her with this. It's very worthwhile. Sometimes I think I'm a candidate for the Alzheimer's help myself, but it seems like that I can't remember too many things long ago. And somebody asked me one day about something that Elvis did 30 years ago, and I said, I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. But I am happy that you're here. You have no idea what it means to me to see so many of you people come to town every year to honor this man. And the only thing that I really ask of you is that you only honor him. Don't worship him. Don't idolize him. But honor him, because that's all he would want you to do. And he was a great friend. He was a great man. As you know, he had a beautiful voice. He was very generous, very loving, very giving. And he always wanted to do something for somebody else. It was not important to him that he knew the person. It was only important to him that he knew the need of someone. And that's what he really spent his life doing. So I thank you so much for being here and supporting this event. And I know I'm going to be seeing some of you at the Elvis Presley Memorial Dinner tomorrow night. So enjoy the show. I think you've got some good performers here, and it looks like these guys in red shirts are ready to play. So have a great time, and thanks for having me.
Loved it. Love that. Come on, guys. Just a very, very, very sweet lady. I think Elvis, I mean, obviously people will say Marian was lucky to meet Elvis, lucky to have looked after him for a few years. But I will say this, guys, that Elvis was lucky to meet Marian. She has always spoke beautifully about Elvis. And she really knew how to look after him. And obviously when he was unwell, he wanted her to come and sit with him. Yeah? I just think it's beautiful. Let's see if we can find a couple more little clips before I'm going to be doing another live stream after this on defending Elvis Presley. We're going to go straight over. So I think I'm going to end it with the announcement of her passing. There's a few other clips here, guys, but I think we've, you know, obviously if you want to go and watch some more things on YouTube, there's quite a few things with Marian. I think we've got a good feel for her affection for Elvis and how Elvis felt about Marian. Yeah, I think we've been on for nearly an hour. I think we've got a good feel for it. You know, we are here to honour, to pay our respects to Marian for looking after Elvis, for being a good, genuine friend to Elvis. You know, she even gave away the car that he bought her. She was never there for money. She was there because she loved him. She truly, it's so obvious she loved Elvis right till the end. We see her at his concerts, at different events. Very, very proud to have known Elvis, truly loved him from the bottom of her heart. I really do believe that their connection was very special, and I really believe that she meant the world to Elvis, and the right person to have looked after him for a couple of years after 1975, I think. So, rest in peace, Marian, and thank you for all you did for Elvis. I'm so pleased that you knew each other. It was a two-way thing. And as she says, Elvis wanted to be known as a human being. He didn't want to be worshipped. He didn't want to be called a king. He wanted people to see his heart, to see Elvis the man, the true man. And this is what I want as well, guys. This is why we do Defending Elvis Presley with Team Elvis. We want Elvis to see we want the world to see the real Elvis. We want the public image, the public portrayal of Elvis to be the real man, the true man, the man with the heart of gold who always put himself second. And Marian does this in all these little clips, and there's more of them. She really shows us that he was a lovely, beautiful man inside and out. I really believe that. So rest in peace, Marian. Thank you for everything you did for Elvis. And we honour you by defending Elvis Presley every day and doing the best we can to show the world what an amazing human being Elvis Presley was, just like you were, Marian. So rest in peace. I'm going to play out this heartfelt announcement of this is the announcement that tells the world that Marian has passed. We thank you, Marian. Thank you. So, okay, guys. So we're gonna play the announcement. Thank you for joining me today, guys. We're on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. I want to do a few lives today because I feel like I've missed out. So I'm going to come back in about 10-15 minutes, I hope. And we're going to do some defending for Elvis on Defending Elvis Presley. So if you can join me there in 10-15 minutes. Let's play this out. I think I'm going to go out with Salvatore's song as well, because I think I want to play a nice ending song. I think we're going to use Salvatore's song. So let's listen to this. This morning's live stream to Marian Cocke, Elvis' private nurse. Obviously very sad news. Announcing the news that she has passed. It's very, very upsetting to watch. We're going to honour Marian today on our live stream this morning. Thanks, guys.
Good morning. I'm on my way to school this morning, and I needed to get some information out, especially to the Elvis fans, that Marian passed away peacefully this morning in Memphis. Obviously, this is very difficult for me. We've got more information that'll be coming later. We don't know when the funeral will be yet. I'm about to go out of town for a few days, and we're thinking the funeral may be in a couple of weeks. We don't know yet. So as soon as I get those details, I'll let you know. So I just kind of pulled over so that I could get this out quickly. A lot of friends already know this. I'm sure that Graceland will be notified today. So we appreciate everyone's prayers for her over the years, and just know that Marian loved you all very, very much. You were a part of her family. She had very few family members left, and she considered the Elvis fans her family. And we're heartbroken, but we know this morning that she is with Jesus. She's with Bob. She's with Katie, who she missed more than anything in the world. And I just have to know that she's with a guy that we all love very much. She's with her boy this morning. So love y'all, and I'll get that information to you as soon as I can. Bye-bye.
Very touching, guy. Very, guys. Very emotional. Do you know what? I've just realised. I think we should play Marianne's favourite song. Yeah. I think that we need to do that for her. I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I've really enjoyed this. I just think you know, I just wanted to play a touching tribute. Okay, guys. Absolutely beautiful, honestly, guys. I can honestly say that a difficult song to play. So, okay, guys, that was just lovely. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in 15 minutes, hopefully, as long as everything works, okay, on the other laptop. So we've had to use the old laptop because the other one was updating. So Lorna, we're going to be on the other laptop. Take care, guys.